As I often say, one of my favorite things is receiving viewer email from across the country, and that email typically comes with a request, either for, who was that guest, who did you talk about, can we get a copy of the book? Was that really George Clooney on the air?
And
no, it was Russ.
Why is Russ still here?
Why is Russ still here? But there's also those that contact us to say, hey, you should interview this author or CEO or so on and so forth. One of those emails that we got recently was about a company called NervGen Pharma. NervGen Pharma, they are publicly traded under the stock symbol NGENF, NGENF, and they have a website called NervGen.com. And of course, Paul Brennan is the president and CEO. And guess what? Since I'm so very more important,
what?
I was able to get him on the show today.
He's here with us right
I got
now.
public CEOs, man. They call me.
The NervGen.
People know me.
He's the NervGen.
Paul, how are you, sir? Great to see you.
I'm good. Yeah, how are you?
Hey, listen. So first of all,
guess at what companies do. They generate new nerves. How's that? Do they grow nerves?
Yeah. Are you a nerve growing? Is this a nerve growing company?
That's pretty good. Pretty close.
Really? Talk to us. Tell us about. We obviously you had a number of people contact us to see if we can feature you guys, and we like to pull the covers back on a public company here and there. So, talk to us. What does NervGen do?
So it's nerve repair. Okay. Anytime that you have damage to the nerve, you have essentially the ability, or what we do is hope and promote the ability to repair the nerve when it's damaged. And that's a pretty big thing, because when you think about a lot of these neuro diseases like multiple sclerosis, Alzheimer's, spinal cord injury, concussion, when the nerves are damaged, they're damaged for good. You can't repair them. And it's very unusual because the rest of the body repairs itself. If you cut a peripheral nerve on the hand, or if you just cut a skin, that will repair itself. Yeah. But the brain, the neurons in the brain don't repair themselves. And so what we've got is a technology that's going to address that, to help the actual systems that exist in the brain already and put them in motion to repair themselves.
So, Paul, I read that the person involved with your core technology was a pretty renowned spinal cord guy, right? That is right at the tip of the spear in all of this, and probably no better person to develop something like this, correct?
He's a star. Dr. Jerry Silver at Case Western Reserve. This technology comes from his lab and from 30 years of research that he did, trying to understand why the nervous system wasn't repairing itself.
All right. Okay, so talk to us. Give us an example of how life changes, 3 years ago versus what you guys are thinking is going to be out there in the market. What's the difference in outcomes for patients, and give us an example of that.
Yeah, so if we take a look at where we started, Dr. Silver, he was looking at spinal cord injury. We're hoping to get patients being able to have motor control, so maybe being able to walk again when they couldn't walk, or be able to control their bladder when they couldn't control their bladder. In MS patients, many MS patients start having to walk with a cane or a walker. And what we're hoping to be able to do is improve their ability to walk. And then Alzheimer's patients, that cognitive decline that occurs, we're actually hoping that our technology will reverse that cognitive decline and allow people to improve their memory, improve their reasoning abilities.
This is very painful, though, isn't it? I mean, when people lose sensation in those type of things, I understand, only because we do a lot of support for the Challenge Athletes Foundation here, and we work with a number of paraplegics and folks like that. There is a fair amount of pain involved in that. So you guys are also improving patient lives, are you not?
Oh, absolutely improving patients' lives. The issue of pain, specifically neuropathic pain, we haven't looked at that as an indication. But what we're doing is, if you have a reduced ability to grasp, let's say, that we should be able to improve that ability to grasp. What we're doing is one of the things we're doing is we're allowing the surviving neurons to take on additional function. Good. So typically when you have like a stroke or MS, there's some nerves that are affected and some that aren't affected.
Yeah.
And what we're doing is we're allowing the ones that are remaining to take on that additional function.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is exciting. And
overtime work.
Well, my mother has MS, and so does my daughter.
Yeah.
And I tell you, it's interesting how the two of them are going through. I mean, both of them are very active, and there's a way to handle it. But any new therapies obviously are a bright spot for that specific sort of type of patient. Talk about what your compound's called and where you guys are in the arc of the story with the FDA and so on and so forth.
Sure. Yeah. So our compound is called MVG-291, and we just started phase 1 trials. They're being done in Australia. They're being done in healthy subjects. And the idea is we want to show that it's well tolerated in healthy subjects, that it's absorbed. And then we're going to move into phase 2 trials in Alzheimer's, or a phase 1B trial in Alzheimer's, and phase 2 trials in spinal cord injury and multiple sclerosis, probably mid-2022.
Interesting. Well, and then so far, any indications on success? I mean, obviously, biopharma companies are in the business of researching nonstop. What's your crystal ball tell you right now?
So the preclinical results. So in the healthy subjects, we don't see indications of success because those healthy subjects don't have damage.
Sure. Right.
But the preclinical results we're seeing are pretty fantastic. I mean, we have videos where we show animals that are injured, let's say spinal cord injury, that can't move their legs, can't support the weight. All of a sudden, they're climbing up ladders to get food.
Boy, I'll tell you.
And the type of response that we're seeing is really unique. We haven't seen that with other compounds. It's really quite special.
Hey, Paul, first of all, his name is Paul Brennan, president and CEO of NervGen Pharma. It's exactly what the name sounds like. They are publicly traded under the stock symbol NGENF. NervGen.com. Will you come back on the air with us sometime? This is fascinating. I love this topic.
Absolutely would love to.
Good stuff. We'll see
I'm
you very
having a little problem with my thumb. I cooked,
you want to get
drunk and cut off part of it. It's not coming back.
You want your
man.
number? You want his number?
I want your number, Doc. The nerve.
Big Biz Show. More coming up. Stand by.
Hitchhike.
Like.